There are currently 9 Star Wars games in active development right now, and yes, I do believe we are about to transition into a whole new era of Star Wars gaming. And this list of new Star Wars games includes Star Wars games almost from every single game genre, including a first-person shooter, 2 strategy games, a third-person open-world game, a role-playing game, and so much more. And I'm also going to talk about the big one, Star Wars Battlefront 3. Where is Star Wars Battlefront 3, and why have we not seen an announcement for it just yet? Well, I'm going to give my honest thoughts on Star Wars Battlefront 3 and if we'll ever see this game announced in the near future. So let's dive into the video and take a look at all of the Star Wars games that are currently in active development right now. So this first one on the list is a game that no one is really talking about, but I think when it is announced and officially revealed, it is going to be the talk of the town. So Respawn Entertainment is currently working on a brand new Star Wars first-person shooter game. So this is a big transition from their past Star Wars games like Star Wars Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order. But, of course, Respawn are no strangers to the FPS genre, as they made some of my favorite first-person shooter games, including Titanfall 1 and 2. And what's even more exciting about this Star Wars game is that former producer on the original Star Wars Battlefront games, Peter Hirschman, is working on the brand new FPS game at Respawn Entertainment. And Hirschman said that he has always been inspired by the classic Star Wars titles Dark Forces and Dark Forces 2. So that's giving some indication of what the new FPS game will be like. He also said the following. He said, "I've never forgotten the emotion and excitement I felt playing an FPS inside the Star Wars universe. They are defining experiences for many of us on the team and are a guiding light for this new project." End quote. And no release date or platforms have been announced just yet for Respawn's new FPS game, but I'm sure it will be available for Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and PC when they do eventually fully showcase the game. And I'm guessing we could get our very first look at this game as early as this year at Gamescom or the Video Game Awards. If not, we'll probably see it next year during the Summer Games Fest. So this next one on the list is a game that we've actually seen proper gameplay of, which is why I'm putting it towards the front of this list. And it's no other than Star Wars Outlaws by Massive Entertainment and Ubisoft. And of course, this game was recently revealed at Ubisoft Forward, and it looks absolutely fantastic. It's going to be open world, it's going to be a single player, third-person action adventure game, and it features the characters Kay Vess, Nyx, and Indy 5, and the characters and the story all look very promising so far. And with the open world, you're going to have the ability to traverse each planet with your speeder bike on foot. You're going to also be able to seamlessly go from the ground to space, participate in dogfights in space, and then also land on space stations as well. So again, this game is sounding absolutely fantastic, and there's a lot more features than that, like reputation, the wanted system, and so on, that I went over in a previous video, so be sure to check it out. Now, the release date is currently 2024 for this game, and it's releasing on the Xbox Series X and S, the PlayStation 5, and the PC. And this next one on the list is Star Wars Eclipse. Now, Star Wars Eclipse showed their first CGI trailer back in December of 2021 and wowed everybody, including me, but unfortunately, we did not get to see any actual solid gameplay. The game is described as a new action-adventure, multiple character branching narrative game set in the High Republic era, and if the actual game ends up being anything like the CGI trailer, well, you can definitely count me in, because that first trailer was freaking amazing. Now, Star Wars Eclipse currently has no release date, unfortunately, but hopefully we hear something about it either at this year's Gamescom or at the Video Game Awards. But honestly, I'm expecting next year to be when they show us a little bit more on Star Wars Eclipse. And we cannot forget about the new game in the Star Wars Jedi franchise. Yes, there is a third game in the works in the Star Wars Jedi franchise that will follow up on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So both of those games, of course, were stellar single-player games by Respawn Entertainment, and again, it has been confirmed that this third game is indeed in the works. Now, how this game will evolve upon the gameplay mechanics and story of the first two has yet to be seen, of course, but knowing Respawn, they definitely won't disappoint. They pulled it off with Survivor, and I believe they're going to do it again with this third game. Of course, they're going to want to make sure that the frame rate and the performance is stable at launch, unlike with Survivor, which did have some performance issues on PC and console. So if they nail that, they can easily create another Game of the Year contender with the third game. Now, Star Wars Hunters is the multiplayer arena-style game being developed by Boss Alien and Natural Motion and published by Zynga. Now, this game takes place on the planet Vespara and will have many different maps and modes to play, including modes like Hutball, Escort, and Control, and I personally think that Control is definitely going to be my favorite mode since it reminds me more of Conquest mode from the Battlefront games, but just on a smaller scale. Now, this game is supposed to release on Nintendo Switch sometime this year in 2023, and has already had a soft launch on mobile in select countries. So I'm going to be keeping my eyes peeled for a concrete release date in 2023, or they might just do a shadow drop and just drop it and surprise us. And this next game sounds quite exciting because it is being developed by Amy Hennig, who previously worked on the Uncharted franchise, and Dominic Robiliard, who is the previous game director for a little game called Star Wars 1313. And they are both leading this game project at the newly formed studio called Skydance New Media. Now, this new game is described as an action-adventure game, and it sounds like Skydance New Media's goal is to bring cinematic and film-quality storytelling to gaming through this new company. And this doesn't surprise me at all, especially considering that Amy Hennig worked on the Uncharted series and is known for creating games with this high caliber type of storytelling. And like many games on this list, this one is still in active development, so no release date just yet, but hopefully we get a glimpse at what this game is all about in the near future. Alright, we gotta talk about Reactor and Respawn Entertainment's new strategy game. I am very, very excited for this one, and Reactor is a newly formed studio that will be creating this brand new Star Wars strategy game. And what's really exciting about this game is that many of the XCOM developers are working on this new strategy game, and the studio has said that one of the main goals is to blur the line between what a strategy game is and what an action game is. And you guessed it, no release date just yet for this game, but from the talent that is working at the studio, this is definitely one to look forward to big time. And believe it or not, there is another strategy game rumored to be in development at another veteran studio, and this news comes from Andy Robinson, Video Games Chronicle owner and editor, who said the following on Twitter. He said, "I imagine you won't have to wait much longer for a Star Wars RTS from a big name developer." So this strategy game is said to be more of a traditional Star Wars strategy game, similar to strategy games like Age of Empires, StarCraft, and Star Wars Empire at War. And this really makes me happy to hear because I used to play StarCraft, Age of Empires, and Rise of Nations all the time, so I really can't wait to see if the rumors are true about this one. And I certainly cannot forget about the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake. This game was originally in development by Aspyr, but then it was moved to another studio, Saber Interactive, specifically one of its European studios. I'm still keeping this game on the list, but I'm gonna be honest with you all, I have no idea how rocky the development really is with this game, but hopefully they can pull it together and actually give us a gameplay trailer someday with at least an estimated release date. But again, I'm going to keep it on the list and be hopeful for this one. And yes, I've got to include Star Wars Battlefront 3 on this list, a game that the community has been begging for, something that I practically hear about every single day. But for now, Battlefront 3 has not been confirmed to be in development by anyone at Disney or Lucasfilm. But I did put this on the list to provide some hope for us Star Wars fans that we will see it someday, because yes, I do believe we will get to see a new Battlefront game someday. After all, Star Wars Battlefront is one of the most talked about franchises in Star Wars gaming history, and millions of fans, including myself, want to see it return. Plus, we cannot forget that it's also one of the best-selling games of all time, so Disney and Lucasfilm are definitely not going to ignore that. But the question is, when will they bring Star Wars Battlefront back? That's the real question. And that's going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be reporting on all things Star Wars gaming, tons of stuff to look forward to, and I'll see you all next time. Take it easy, and may the Force be with you always.